Quitting smoking for men. Pillar 3, responsibility. What is responsibility? It's having a duty to deal with something or having control over someone. It's about accountability or having authority to make a legal decision. But is that what it really is? What is it really? Well, really, it's kind of a way of living in the world. It's an expression of our values, of what we stand for. We are what we do, not what we intend to do. We are not our thoughts, but we are how we actualize ourselves out in the world. That means what you think you are is not what you are. What you actually do defines who you are. If you're a murderer and you think you're a really great guy, but the rest of the world thinks you're an evil, horrible person, which are you? If you think you're a good guy, you're delusional. Why? Because there is an objective reality that exists outside of our own thoughts about ourselves. You see, reality is kind of like a handshake between two people. We actually negotiate reality with other people. So we call that a map. So what we say is, the map is not the territory. Here's what I mean. When we look out of our own eyes at the world, we take in all of our senses. Basically, we take in all of this data through our senses. Our brains then assign meaning to that data, and it does it based on a whole host of factors that we know from neuroscience, including past experiences, our feelings, and our thoughts. We create a map of our experience or reality in our own mind. Well, guess what? Someone else can see the same thing you saw, and they will do the exact same thing as you. They will create a map. But guess what? That map will be based on their own personal baggage, on their history, on their experiences, on their values. And 100%, they will create a different map than you of reality. The map is not your reality. Well, the truth is, actually both of you are kind of wrong. Yep, no one person is correct about reality. We negotiate reality between people. We talk about our maps. Why are they different? And sometimes we can even come to an understanding of someone else's map. And even though we do, we still may not agree with them. All that being said, there still actually are objective facts outside of our maps. Our maps are merely representations of reality, the territory, the space between us. And we use these maps to navigate the world. This is how our brain works. When someone tells you their map is reality, be kind and just remember, like you, they actually are delusional about it. The map is not the territory. The territory is benign reality between us. The territory actually is reality, and there is objective truth about that. It's just not relative to your point of view, and we can discern it. What I mean is, it is actually possible for someone to be wrong about the territory or reality, and someone else can actually be more right about it. Period, end of story, no matter what anyone tells you. That is how reality actually works, and we know this from science. The territory is actual reality. So what does this have to do with responsibility? Good question. Just like reality, responsibility has this kind of duality to it. Just like how we have maps and territory between us, those are kind of two things that exist at the same time. Responsibility has two aspects that work together, rights and responsibility. We all have rights. In fact, that's all we hear about in this modern world. I have a right to this, or I have a right to that. Modern society has become very rights focused, which is both a good thing because rights are good, but it's also a bad thing. Here's what I mean. Our greatest strength is also our greatest weakness. Rights are a very good thing. They're great. But think about that for a minute. Think about it. Our greatest strength is also our greatest weakness. Rights are super important, and we should never forget that. But what happens when we spend too much time focused on a strength, on our rights? Things get out of whack. Life needs to be balanced. And right now in society, unfortunately for men, we are too focused on rights. This is actually a problem. And it's actually a problem, believe it or not, that makes it hard for men to quit smoking when we get so focused on what we're entitled to or what our rights are. You're going to have to bear with me here. You see, when you have a right to something, that literally becomes a responsibility for someone else. It is impossible to have a right without having a counterbalancing responsibility. For example, we have a right to worship any God we want according to the Constitution. Now, if someone infringes on that right or tries to stop it, we need someone to take responsibility and protect that right. So you cannot have a right. Rights do not exist without somebody taking responsibility. That's how it works. You have to take responsibility and protect it. The two go hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other. It's literally impossible, and they need to be in balance. The two are interconnected, rights and responsibility. What happens when we focus too much on rights instead of taking responsibility? Well, we end up lacking responsibility. We don't have enough of it. And what happens when we lack responsibility? We lose something. We lose what responsibility gives us. So what does responsibility give us? Let's take a step back and look at the territory, the benign reality of life first, okay? We're humans. Life is hard. The world is full of suffering. People are flawed. We are fragile. We're vulnerable. We're mortal. We are literally, as Emily Dickinson wrote, we are born astride a grave. We are born to die, literally. People are not equal. People are really different and with different levels of competency. Just look around you. Humans have never been equal, nor will they ever be. Never. For all time. There is no such thing as equality. Equality is a pipe dream. It's unreachable. It's a myth. There is just no such thing as equality. And pretending otherwise is to go against our human nature and millions of years of Darwinian evolution. If you think you can beat human nature and can beat Darwinian evolution, then good luck to you. You are going to be extremely disappointed. So for clarity, I'm not saying we should not strive for equality. I'm saying we should not strive for equality of outcome. We should strive for equality of opportunity. Striving for equality of outcome is a fool's errand, and it leads to tyranny. It's a horrible idea. We have to live life based on the objective reality, not our map. And that reality is, in a very real way, that life sucks and it's not equal. And it sucks more for some people than others. The world is difficult by design. That is the territory, the benign reality between us. There is no way around it. Responsibility is about doing something about the nature of your reality. Responsibility is about doing something about the nature of the world, which is not that great, and making it better. Without responsibility and just rights, life sucks. Rights are about what direction we should go. So here we are. Okay, we're focused on our rights, but we leave out responsibility. We leave it out of the equation. What's missing? Well, not to put too fine a point on it, here's what's missing: happiness and meaning. That's right. Responsibility is what gives men in particular meaning and drives male happiness. We know this from science. Want to know why so many young men today are so unhappy? They're all running around thinking and talking about their rights, what they're entitled to. Just look at your teenage son. And they're not talking about responsibility. This leads to nihilism, despair, and self-contempt without responsibility. Here's what you do to have meaning and more happiness in your life. It's really easy. Pick up something heavy and carry it. Take on responsibility head on. You want to fail? Do nothing. Take on no responsibility. You are guaranteed to fail in life. Take on as much responsibility as you can. Carry as big a load as you possibly can get on your back. Grab the heaviest thing in your life that you can find, I don't know, maybe smoking, and pick it up, carry the load, and struggle with it. Take it up that hill. Get your act together and do something about your life. The more responsibility you bear as a man, the richer your life will be. This is how men are actually wired. We are wired to take on responsibility and struggle. Sorry, but that's just how it works. Your being entitled will do nothing to make the world a better place. Zero, zilch. You're just a complainer. So here you are, you're a man, you're smoking. What are you focused on? It's hard to quit because I can't deal with the stress when I'm trying to quit. I'm addicted. If I quit, it makes me a terrible person. I get angry and I blow up. Blah, 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 blah. Fill in the blank. Those are all excuses to not take on responsibility on your quit. It's blaming something else, something outside of you. It's the addiction. Nicotine's addictive as crack cocaine. You are running from your responsibility instead of towards it. You are running towards rights. Remember, rights are, I'm owed this, I'm entitled, I deserve this. I'm entitled to this. Why is quitting so hard? Why can't I just quit? Why are the tobacco companies evil and marketing to young people, getting us all stuck like it did to me? The tobacco companies are terrible. This is a terrible addiction. This is all code for blaming someone else or something else. This is the opposite of responsibility. What would it sound like if you took responsibility on? I have nobody to blame but myself for allowing this to happen to me. I have to step up and take back control of my quit. And I have to quit smoking. And I gotta stop blaming something else outside of myself. I need to pick up this load of quitting smoking, accept no failure, and I need to carry that darn load up that hill. Pick it up and march straight up that hill and do it now. What are you waiting for? Men are designed for responsibility. We're wired for this. And it is why in the modern world, men are losing their way. It is because we're being told over and over again that we are entitled to this, entitled to that, this is our right, that is our right, which is all true, but we're focusing on it too much. That may be true, but focusing on it without the other part, the responsibility, and you're just swimming. You're lost in an ocean of self-loathing. That's what happens. Guess what happens in a world where you don't take responsibility? Men get depressed, sad, and lose meaning. Why? Because if you're a man, you are designed by nature to pick up a load and carry it, both literally and metaphorically. So if you're a man and you want to quit smoking, you need to take responsibility and carry the load of your quitting smoking. Struggle with it, make mistakes, drop the load, bend down, pick it up, and keep marching up that darn hill. That is what you were made for. That is how you're designed. That will give you meaning and bring you happiness. And guess what else will happen? You're finally going to quit for life if that is how you frame it. So here you are. Here are some practical things you can do right away to start to bear the burden of quitting smoking for life. And it is a burden. And it is hard. And it's time you took responsibility for it. So here's what you can do. Speak truthfully. That's always a really good idea. Be a real person that makes mistakes. That's what real people do. Don't be afraid to do something. Do anything. Take action. You're a man. It doesn't matter what you do. You're wired to take action. Do something. Man does something. Anything. And when you do, you will always find purpose and meaning and happiness in it. Trust me. Remember, the limits of what you are capable of as a man is a direct result of how much responsibility you take. This isn't about winning or finishing. It's about carrying a burden. And you know what? Carry burdens your whole life. Never stop carrying burdens. If all you did your whole life was pick up burdens and carry them and never stop doing that till you died, you will literally leave the world a much, much better place than when you came. You will have meaning, purpose, and happiness. Literally. Let's wrap all three of these videos together for you so that you can understand what I mean by what a man needs in order to quit smoking for life. Here is what you must have and how you need to frame your quit in your own mind's eye. There's three pillars, there's three videos. Purpose, okay? It must go against the grain. It must be based on logic and reason, and it must be practical. Why? Because that is how you are wired as a man. 2, you must have something to overcome. Guess what? Smoking is something to be conquered. And it's good to hold it that way. Seek out the obstacles that are getting in your way of quitting. Create your own 0 to hero story out of it. Literally. 3, take responsibility for smoking. It's your fault. You have nobody to blame but yourself. Pick up the burden and carry it. The problem is you're not picking up the issue of smoking and carrying the responsibility with you at the same time. You have to have responsibility for your own quit on your shoulders. So do it now. So if you're a man, this is how you literally need to frame your quit, around these 3 principles. It's really that simple. Why? Because you're a dude. And for men, we accomplish things by removing emotion, making it simple, and taking on the responsibility and overcoming something. If you're a man, the answer should look and sound that simple. That's your nature. Don't complicate it. Don't fight your own nature. You will lose every time and just keep smoking. You have a higher purpose in life, and that is you are an overcomer of obstacles as a man. Smoking is that obstacle, and you will now take full, and I mean 100% responsibility for your smoking. Make no excuses, and you will carry that burden up the quit smoking hill, and make no excuses. Now, take responsibility. If you're a man and you frame your quit smoking this way, literally turn it into your own personal 0 to hero journey, you will be successful every time. Why? Because that is the nature of your own mind. That is the nature of how you were made. You are not broken. You're just off course. Right the ship and let's get this done. It's time to take responsibility and to carry that burden up that damn hill. If this video was helpful to you, please share it, like it, subscribe to the channel. It helps me continue to create new videos. And also, if you're a man and you want more assistance or more help or more direction, I'm happy to give it to you. I will put in the description below a link to a free phone consultation with me. Take advantage of it. It's free, it's just conversational, and actually we'll have a really good time. I look forward to hearing from you. Blessings to everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.